So I actually made this video before and then stopped it because I didn't know. If I had agreed with what I said, I think I might have misspoke, and luckily I got fantastic help from Canadian Orth, a guy with an awesome channel. But the question is asked, and this was the same question I tried to answer in the video that I did. But thank you for resending the question. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But of the day and the hour knoweth no man, not the angels in heaven, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father. If Jesus Christ is the same ousia as the Father and equal to him, why does he not know when the end of days is, and why is he not omniscient? The verse seems to support Arianism more than Orthodoxy to me. Could you tell me how Orthodoxy explains this apparent discrepancy? Please, and thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Thank you for resending the question. I appreciate that. Instead of just sending you the original video, because again, I'll make I'll make a video that's 7 minutes long or 10 minutes long or 14 minutes long, and then somebody comes along and writes a nice comment, and I'm like, wow, that encapsulated exactly what I was trying to say. But Canadian North really does it to a point where I think it's so good that I need to give him credit and repeat this. The Son is speaking here. The Son is speaking as man here. His human intellect, and this is just a shorter version of what I try to get to in the video. His human intellect is created and does not have the capacity for omniscience. His divine intellect is omniscient. The Son ate in his humanity, not his divinity. The Son was born of the Virgin Mary in his humanity, not his divinity. Although there is one person on here that thinks the Virgin Mary gave birth to the divinity of Christ. No. Each nature offers to the one divine person that which is naturally capable of. Both natures do not combine in each act. The person acts his nature do not act. So the humanity doesn't become divine because of the hypostatic union. I was worried about this being heretical, and he said the comment was more was a comment to your questionnaire than the response to. I just had a discussion with a non-Trinitarian on a video, and he kept saying that our position was 100% God, 100% man. I wouldn't use that equation because I think it means both natures must operate in every act. Remember, this eternal person is 100% divine, 0% human. Yet the natures he has is fully God, fully human. The person acts as God with unconfused natures. That might be a little too technical of terms, or might not be understood, not because there's any dumbness to it, or not because anybody else is stupid or anything like that. But grappling with these things, I do say 100% man, 100% God, fully man, fully God. These things, we see this as, I equate this as the same, and it's what you mean by it. He just says I wouldn't use that thing because again it can be misunderstood. Yeah, he suffered in his humanity. He died in his humanity. That he was fully God, fully man. Taking on being a human, humans aren't omniscient. Humans can't fly around places. Remember, acting as totally obedient to being a human, laying aside the power. He was human, and remember, titles like Son of God or Son of God or Son of Man. These are titles for the Messiah. This is, people sometimes confuse this with God the Son, as if the Son of God is Logos. The Christ, Logos is in the Christ, gave the Christ his deity. It was the Theotokos who gave him his humanity. So when he ate, suffered, pooed, stubbed his toe, bled, farted, urinated, this is his humanity. And remember, laying aside this, he became human. So his omniscience and everything. So even when he called to his Father, and he said, you know, I could ask my Father to send down angels. Not I would zap you with lightning bolts. He didn't have lightning bolts coming out of his hand. And he wasn't able to fly or anything. But through the faith and obedience to God in all ways. And the Son, the Father loving the Son, asked God to resurrect the dead and things like this. And to a point where some see, and I see this his divinity bursting through. Again, the answers I read to you weren't necessarily my answers. I had answered the video a little differently. But even with something like Arianism, you would get this problem, because if he's just less than God, right? Again, the conundrum would come up again of, well, why can't he fly? Why can't he do this? Why can't he, you know, this and that? Certainly he had all the gifts of a prophet and more. This is the Son now coming. But of his humanity, remember, he laid aside these omniscient powers and omnipotence and all this stuff. But again, even when saying that in the original video, and I'll probably post that as public too, or a response to this, I am uncomfortable with using terms like omniscient or omnipotent, because again, we in the Orthodox Church do not like to do that. We say God is love, and we use apophatic terms. We do see God as omnipotent, but it's not the post-enlightenment philosophical term that people try to turn into in debate of omnipotence. Well, how could it be omnipotent? How could something know if it didn't know something? And all these things, and it's like, that's really gone off on it. So these are not, I kind of don't like these terms. One, because it brings us into the realm of, okay, well, we're going to have this of the Western attributes of God, and not that those things are necessarily bad in that, but the way it's philosophically dealt with, and you kind of start taking on the form or the view of the Western God, which is a little sky god-ish for the rest of the Orthodox Church. So we usually say ineffable and unknowable, unimaginable, these things. But yeah, the Logos should know. You know, he's God. He's not some suburb of heaven. You know, he's of one essence with the Father and the Holy Spirit, right? I don't want. I think people could misunderstand the comments that I read from Canadian North, and you did a great job writing these. But I think people could kind of, just as he's concerned about the terms 100% God, 100% man, people misunderstanding that. This might be misunderstood as he was not divine at all. That's not what we're saying. In his humanity, what is it to be of God or to be fully God? Does this have to have omniscience or omnipotence? No. At least not for Orthodoxy. I would say not for early Christianity either. Remember, he laid these aside to take upon humanity. So fully God, fully man, unblended. God cannot die. God cannot. A lot of these things. Poo. He's not in physical form, right? The divinity, right? But taking upon flesh. The Theotokos gave to him mankind's yes towards God, in total obedience to God, leading the law, becoming fully human, and in his humanness. I mean, he actually would not. I mean, how could he have any? How could he save if he actually wasn't human? If he came down, he's not Hercules or anything. He didn't come down and was like, well, I'm omniscient and I'm omnipotent and I can do all these things and I can just, throw a mountain over the, over the moon and all this kind of stuff. That's not being a human. Humans are omniscient. So when it's talking about the Son, this is the Son of God. These are the terms that they used, right? Now, when we talk about it, we translate things like the Logos into God the Son, which is very appropriate, and what is revealed to the church and by the church. I hope this answers your question for you. This is a cool topic to discuss. Hopefully we could do a roundtable discussion or something like this, or an open forum type thing where we discuss these things. That would be cool. I would look forward to that. So I'll send you this, and I will also send you the original video as well if you want to take a look at that, of my strange mutterings and trying to answer this. But thanks to the aid of Canadian North, I could give you those statements. Although I am just as he's concerned about 100% God, 100% man, I think people could mistake his first comment. I don't. I realize what he's saying, but I think people could mistake that as, oh, so you're not saying there is any divinity in him? No, fully human, fully divine. Logos incarnate. It's God, who God is and what God is. Again, omniscience, I don't see that as, at least I don't. I don't know how anybody else would do this. Is anything dependent on God? Basically, the pureness and love that has existed throughout eternity. I see that as the divinity coming in there. Certainly, this is conscious. This is not just a blind thing. But also, we look at the hypostatic union as a mystery. Not that we can't explain it or that we don't explain it, but that it's more special than we can know. That's that kind of when we say mystery. Not that it's just we're totally in the dark on it, right? But I hope this helped you. Peace to you. God save Serbia, Syria, and Ireland. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Arian Gobra.